So Ariel the Rat Helwani is still at it. He started last week with Chael Sonnen. They went back and forth. He accused him of some crazy ass stuff online. Now he's after reigniting a rivalry with MMA manager Ali Abdelaziz. Now this story sent me down a couple of funny little avenues. I discovered a crazy enough story, I have to say, in terms of Jorge Masvidal that I didn't know before, and I can't believe that I've missed it. Because if you go back a year ago during the Masvidal-Colby Covington stuff, I was covering it ad nauseum and I never came across this stuff. So I'll get to that in a minute. So I'll thank Ariel the Rat for unearthing that little piece of information. But for now, we're going to look at this story and what might be behind this reignition of a rivalry between him and Ali Abdelaziz. And you can kind of guess what's behind it. In fairness, there's a lot of subtext going on here, given what he accused Chael of and given what has happened in the last 2 or 3 weeks in terms of Middle Eastern conflicts. You can see why these two are going at each other's throats again. So I'm going to get into them little bits. Before I do, if you could hit like, subscribe and share. Very important to the channel, helps us grow. And there's also the join button in there. You can become a member. I'm going to do a video this week for the members, and when I get my software sorted for the streaming, I'm going to get that up and going. I'm hoping to do maybe a stream this week if anybody is interested. You know, I'm a little bit conscious of doing it because it's like, okay, I've got 17,000 subscribers. I don't know how many people I'm going to get watching me live, whether anybody would even have interest in that. So we see how that goes. So yeah, let's have a little look at this story with Ariel. He's been going hard this week, fair play to him. So I guess it kind of stemmed from the fact that he pretended to be a bit of a reporter there yesterday, and he came out with the current plan, though not finalized just yet, to have Islam Makhachev versus Charles Oliveira 2 headline UFC 297. That event, while not officially announced yet, is currently slated for January 20th in Toronto. The original plan for that main event was Volkanovski Topuria, but now the plan is to be in February pay-per-view. And that set the whole thing off because, as we know, Ariel is one of these guys, kind of like Luke Thomas, you know, that fell into MMA. They don't really want to talk about MMA. They're not built for MMA. These dudes have never gotten a lash into the mouth when he's calling on the likes of Chael Sonnen. Come on, say it to my face. Do it. Do it. You're like, what are you going to do? What are you actually going to do? You're calling out and actually throwing pejoratives towards Jamal Hill. First of all, you don't want to see it. Or maybe you do want to see it. But one lash into the mouth from Jamal Hill, and he will put a hole in your head, Ariel. And I don't even want to get into what Chael would do to you. So stop with the hard man stuff. Stop with the I want to be a legitimate reporter. I've been the MMA reporter of the year 13 times in a row or some shit like that. It was like, really? Really? He was pretending to be a bit of a reporter here in the last day or so. And he got called out by Dana. Dana was like, nah, man, there's none of that happening. Whatever you're on about there, it ain't happening. And you know what? You can't see the kind of devious side of Dana. He could have had all these plans for Charles Oliveira and Makhachev to be on UFC 297 and the Volkanovski Topuria stuff. He could have had all that laid out. It could have been like 3 months of work going into it. And he saw that the Rat Helwani broke the news story. And he was just like, pull the plug, man. Pull the plug. We're not giving him the chance to be right. So Dana called him out and Dana was like, yeah, dude, that ain't happening. Ali Abdelaziz jumped straight in as well. He was like, fake news. Makhachev isn't fighting Charles Oliveira in January. Please don't listen to people who can't get credentials at the UFC events. Fake news, bitch. And Ariel popped back in like he does and said, hey, at least I can get on a plane and leave the country. These are the type of insults I know he was throwing around during the old COVID times when people weren't allowed to leave their houses or their countries without 47 injections into the arm. You just know that he was craving more and more of that sort of totalitarianism. What a rat scumbag. So you see this, Ali Abdelaziz, Ariel Helwani are throwing shade at each other and you're thinking, I wonder what's behind that. Obviously they've had beef in the past. Ariel said that he didn't think that Kamaru Usman was as deserving of a title shot as Leon Edwards was, and they went back and forth and Ali banned these guys from coming on the stream and all that sort of stuff. I think a lot of people should do that with Ariel. So tell me this, right? A lot of the MMA fighters that go on there have been on there numerous times and they might hold some sort of loyalty to Ariel as a friend because he puts on a fantastic facade at actually making people think that he's telling the truth when he clearly isn't and he's a rat. Me, myself, I can only see young fighters going on the Ariel Helwani show, like, because they're trying to build a profile, they're trying to build an online presence, and then you can imagine, okay, you get a call from Ariel, all the big people go on there, I'm going to go on there, it's going to be great exposure. That's the only way I can see it happening. I don't understand how the likes of, well, I was just about to say Israel Adesanya. When you're a narcissist, you need to keep getting fed. You need people to keep nodding their head in front of you going, oh yeah, you're so great. So you can understand that dude. But legitimate, good fighters like a Bryce Mitchell or a Volkanovski or Conor McGregor or Dustin Poirier, these lads, right? Why are you going on there? You're showing some sort of loyalty to Ariel or something? I don't get it. And let's say you're one of them fighters that are coming up. You go on the Ariel Helwani show. What does that do to your profile? Is it not better to go into the octagon, get your business done, cut a decent promo in the aftermath of that if you get the win? I think that does so much more for your online presence or your general profile than going on Ariel's show. So like when Ali Abdelaziz boycotts the show and doesn't show up, I'm like, yeah, right job. That doesn't mean that I support Ali Abdelaziz in any way, shape or form. He's just as much of a rat as Ariel. And this kind of exemplifies the whole situation that we're talking about and the whole world is at conflict with at the moment. Because it's like, stop making me pick a side. I don't want to pick Ariel's side and I don't want to pick Ali Abdelaziz's side. I just want to do my own thing. I want to pick my own side and I want to put my money on myself. How about that? You know, and I think if fighters did that a bit more with Ariel, they'd be way better off instead of having to bend the knee. And if you believe the Paddy Pimblett stuff with Ariel, I don't know what that says about him. But I came across this video whilst I was looking at this Ariel stuff and whilst people were throwing shade at Ali Abdelaziz. And I said I'd play it because, one, it was entertaining. Two, I don't know if we're ever going to see this guy speak in this cognitive style again. You know, because it was lucid, it was sharp, it was like a fox on crack. It was unreal. But let's have a listen of this description of Ali Abdelaziz.
Is a fucking snitch, terrorist, rat. And that's it. I could go into heavy detail, and I will go into heavy detail. He was pulled off of a flight going from Cairo, Egypt to New York City on September 11, 2001. He was caught with 5 passports in his possession. He turned informant and turned on the people that he was working with. He is I don't even know how that man is in this country. We're all facing, I'm sure everyone here, the Irish people, are facing all this immigration stuff on the way over. My own people are facing it, my family. It's getting stopped at the airport and this and that. And then you've got this man with such a crazy background, Ali Abdelaziz, and he's rocking around free. It begs belief, to be honest, but hey, don't ever take information from an informant, and that's what that man is doing. He's a rat bastard.
I'm actually delighted that the whole Ariel stuff on the weekend led me to like see these videos again and remember how good he was on the mic. And of course he's telling nothing but truths, because if we go back to this original article over here, they talk about Ali Abdelaziz's track record, and he ain't joking. He ain't joking when he says this guy's a rat. In March, it was reported that Abdelaziz was no longer allowed to travel outside the United States without notifying authorities due to being dropped as an NYPD informant in the past. In 2002, Abdelaziz was imprisoned for a document forgery. Whilst locked up, he was recruited by the NYPD Deputy Commissioner of Intelligence to work undercover with a Virginia-based arm of a group called the Muslims of America. Abdelaziz became an agency's highest paid informant at the time, reportedly earning hundreds of thousands of dollars in the process. And the reason he was picked to infiltrate the group of Muslims of America is because he was one of the leading guys in there before he even got picked. So Connor's 100% right. That dude shouldn't be allowed to even walk around on the streets, not to mention be this millionaire, powerful manager within the MMA UFC community. But whilst I was coming across these videos and watching Connor dropping bombs, I came across this video. I'll just play this for you, see what you think of this one.
I think a lot of people don't know this. You have spent time in jail.
Yeah, I think we need to talk about that.
Why not?
We'll skip that one.
How old were you?
When I what?
When you were
went
in
to
jail?
Disney World the first time? Or?
No. The other Disney, the complete opposite.
And those are rumors that I went to jail.
Okay.
That might not even be true, man.
You don't want to talk about it?
Skip.
Okay. Can I ask about your father?
Yeah.
He has been to jail as well.
So I never heard this story of Masvidal going to prison before. You would think that this would have been front and center during the Colby altercation when he was arrested and he is facing 15 years in jail. And you were kind of thinking, okay, when you sneak up behind someone, kind of like a little coward bitch, and you give him a slap into the mouth and you knock out their tooth, yeah, you're going to get arrested, you're going to get into trouble. Where's all this talk of 15 years coming from? Well, it's probably because you've already served time in prison and committed felony offenses. So adding this little attack from behind just to show how street you were didn't really do you any favors. So I ended up doing a little bit of research and I found this. What is in Jorge Masvidal's criminal record? So the Miami-Dade keeps a database on all the citizens charged with public records. After researching Masvidal's former charges, a person can find the following. Illegally carrying a concealed firearm. On June 21st, 2004, Masvidal was charged with illegally carrying a concealed firearm. The case was filed on June 21st, 2004, closed on March. The county database does not disclose jail time. However, during the period, Masvidal did not perform in any sports events or professional fighting events. Interesting. Grand Theft Auto, November 30th, 2004, Masvidal was charged with Grand Theft Auto charges. The case was closed less than a month later. Trespassing, property and disorderly intoxication, perhaps one of the lightest in Masvidal's charges. Then you fast forward to 2022 and the charge related to an incident where Masvidal instigated against his rival Colby Covington outside a steakhouse. So that's a decent little rap sheet there if you think about it. Illegally carrying a concealed firearm, Grand Theft Auto, trespassing, disorderly intoxication, assault. Nice little record there for a guy who was front and center of all the UFC promotions over the last 2 years. I have to say, fair play to him. And if it wasn't for the rat Ariel, I would never have come across them little tidbits, and I wouldn't have enjoyed Conor smashing Ali Abdelaziz, and I wouldn't have enjoyed Masvidal squirming during that interview from Ariel Helwani like a little weasel in the chair, knowing that he was banged up a bunch of times. So that was interesting to see. But as I alluded to in the beginning of this video, we have this case where we have the top echelon reporters in MMA, the likes of your Ariel Helwanis and your Luke Thomases, and it's clear and overt that none of these guys actually care about MMA. These guys want to be a respected reporter. That's why you see Ariel going for these stupid questions, asking Conor McGregor about assault cases and trying to bring this shit up with Masvidal. It's like, okay, it's fun to hear this story about Masvidal being arrested 4 times, and in light of what happened with Colby, you're kind of looking at it going, okay, it would have been interesting if we had known this before. But who is Ariel to be asking these questions? Does he think that he's like this deep cutting investigative journalist? I don't think so, bro. I think just like in recent times, these big conglomerates of people have been exposing themselves. I think, Ariel, you've exposed yourself as well. You're not a reporter, bro. You're not even a decent human being. You're just a shill, and a whiny one at that. Let me know your thoughts down below. Hit like, subscribe and share. I appreciate you. Cheers.